Imagine laying in the comfort of your own home, fading in and out of consciousness, yelling for help, but nothing comes out. A moment when you feel supreme, and in that same moment, life as you knew it was taken from you. My name is Ashley, and today I'm going to be talking about fentanyl dependency. In the past, I have worked closely with Washington State caseworkers who deal with parents that have gotten their children taken away due to drug and alcohol abuse. I have been able to learn so many things I never knew, plus look at dependency through a whole different lens. By understanding the history, potency, and effects of fentanyl is important if you're worried about dependency in yourself or someone you care about. Today, we are going to talk about how fentanyl dependency interrupts the normalcy of the body's desires and needs, recognizing fentanyl dependency as an actual sickness, and lastly, when you understand how fentanyl dependency is a sickness, you will be more educated in aiding in recovery. Fentanyl takes effect instantly and causes people to want to use it again and again. It alters the body before you realize it, your body will have an uncontrollable want for it, leading to an addiction. So fentanyl binds to receptors in many parts of the brain that are involved in pain, perception, emotion, and the reward feedback. Receptors are located in a specific organ. In this case, we are talking about tissue in the brain that respond to stimuli that basically tell the body how or what to do. Fentanyl can suppress or completely stop the breathing reflex and is linked with having an irregular heartbeat, in which can be rapid or slow. Fentanyl blocks or reduces pain signals traveling up the spinal cord. This pain blocking effect is the intended use for fentanyl. There are also receptors in neurons in which regulate bowel movements. Fentanyl acts on these neurons, causing constipation. Neurons are very small special cells that send information from one nerve to another. Many people with drug addictions do not seek treatment because they have not been told that they have a substance use disorder, or they do not consider themselves to have a problem. When fentanyl is used improperly, you do not just become addicted psychologically, but you also become addicted physically. Endorphins are hormones that are released in our brains that reduce pain. So when a person is abusing fentanyl, there are more endorphins being released, and it causes the body to crave a larger amount for the same result. Over time, your brain becomes rewired and your body is tricked into thinking that the drug is no longer a choice, but an actual need for survival. So as the body adapts itself to the increase of endorphins, when you begin to come off the drug or withdraw, you begin to get symptoms such as anxiety, tremors, and nausea when the substance becomes less and less in your body. If a person does not manage to quit fentanyl on their own, the withdrawal symptoms, which take effect within a few hours, are likely too painful to handle alone. When you become educated on the signs and symptoms of fentanyl addiction, you can help save someone's life. The abuse of fentanyl can cause a risk of overdose along with lasting adverse effects, more so than any other opioid. But there is hope, and the addiction can be conquered with the right treatment and motivation to succeed. Because fentanyl is notorious for being a leading cause of fatal overdose, it is important to get help right away because it involves several levels of care. To develop a better understanding of fentanyl abuse, it can be useful to look at some statistics because it shows a bigger picture of how addictive it is and the impact it has on society. So here are some statistics. It is 100 times more potent than morphine, and it is 50 times more potent than heroin. And fentanyl can be absorbed through the skin. The equivalent of a few grains of salt can be lethal to an adult who doesn't have a high tolerance for opioids. And fentanyl is usually smuggled across the southwestern border. It can be concealed in tire spaces, in gas tanks, and it can also be hidden in many different compartments in the car. And they've also discovered it just mailed to people's home addresses or businesses. So, in conclusion, the strongest drug that exists for a human is another human being. One of the hardest things you will have to do is grieve the loss of a person that is still alive. So with this, let's review. Number 1, realize how easily your body can become dependent on fentanyl and how quickly you will lose control. Number 2, become educated on fentanyl dependency because you can save someone's life. And 3, if you consider yourself to have a fentanyl addiction or since a loved one is addicted, don't wait and seek help. There is no person walking the face of the earth who demonstrates more courage, dignity, honesty, and integrity on a daily basis than an addict in recovery. So talk about it, be safe, understand pain, know addiction, and be prepared. Thank you.